G'day, it's Rob here again. Well, today is Saturday and I've come over to a viewer's house, Peter, to have a look at his workshop and also pick up an item that he's generously given me. And while I'm here, I've got the camera going, so I thought you might like to see his workshop and some of the nice goodies he's got in it. So here we go, come for the ride. And every workshop's got to have a workbench and it's got to have a good range of tooling, and here we've got a nice little cosy setup with a whiteboard. Every man's dream come true. So okay, we'll pan around and see what else is in here. And here's another shot of the workbench, and you can see Peter's got a grinder here, a small one, 1/2 horsepower. But it's a handy size, you know, sharpening drills particularly. You don't need a massive big grinder. And if you do them, you know, handheld, but the way I was shown, yeah, that's a perfect size grinder. Got a rest and good way to go. Nice vise too. That's a good size vise. You don't want them too big and you don't want them too small. That's a nice recent dawn, I think. I'd say that's probably a 4-inch or a 5-inch. 5-inch, yep. I got one very similar, but a bit older. And here's a beautiful looking lathe. It's a 14-inch swing lathe with all the bells and whistles. It's got all the thread settings you could hope for, and it's also variable speed. A really nice bit of gear. Here's a look at the front side, and as you can see, it's a big Hacksaw, and it's model AL356V. Got digital readouts, the whole bit. I'll come up a bit on it. Yeah, that is really a fine piece of equipment. And that's the sole lathe here. At this stage, Peter doesn't have a small lathe, but he is thinking about getting another one for delicate jobs. But this is certainly a good unit. And down the end here, we've got a TIG unit, which is something I would like to play with. Here it is here. Once again, it's a pretty new unit. And yeah, TIG is something that I think would be good to learn. And yeah, in this case, the unit looks to be a nice unit as well. So yeah, this looks good. Peter's still learning on this at the moment, and it's all pretty new, but it's certainly a well-featured machine by the look of it, and he's got a nice little stand for it to go on. Yeah, something I wouldn't mind having myself, and maybe down the track I'll go down this path. TIG is pretty handy. The only thing is, of course, you've got to have a gas supply, and it can be a little bit expensive to use, but it's very versatile and allows you to do stuff like aluminium and any metals that have oxide problems without an issue. Really good. And here's the main chest of drawers for his toolbox, a nice Sid chrome unit. And in this case, we've got some really top quality tooling in there. How's that for a setup? Wow, that is really nice, isn't it? I mean, that is just magnificent. And Peter's 3D printed all of the stands that this tooling's located in, so he's done a beautiful job of that as well. And a lot of this tooling is actually Banggood tooling, but you've got to say the quality looks first class. Really nice setup. What else have we got here? Oh, there's some more useful bits of gear. These are a good measuring device that he was showing me earlier. And yeah, nice setup. Let's try another drawer. Whoa, we've got some more stuff here too. Sure you all interested in this? quite a bit of this stuff is for the mill, so you've got parallels and blocks, clamp downs. Yep. More useful stuff. What have we got here? This looks familiar to me. Ah, right. Yep. Step drills. Yep. I did review some similar ones a while back. I thought it looked familiar. And we almost forgot the top drawer. There's some nice looking collets in here. This is interesting too. This is a set of drill angle gauges that Peter's got from a site on Facebook. These are all laser cut. So they're pretty interesting. So you can, there's also thread pitch on these as well. So that's something you might want to investigate. These are interesting as well. We've got these torque wrenches which I haven't seen before, and they've got a collar so that you can actually spin them, which is a damn good idea. Really good. Plus you can also vary the amount of levers you can put on them, because they've got a sliding beam on top. It's got a centre detent as well. Then you've got various angles you can use the torque wrench on, this way or that way. That's pretty clever. Yeah, always coming up with something new. I've not seen them before. Peter's got imperial and metric on this. Yeah, something I might have to look into. What else has he got? Now, Peter actually works in the aerospace industry, and although he's not a qualified machinist, he is a qualified instrument fitter and maker, and all this equipment is for home hobby use, a lot of it which relates to amateur radio. So there's a lot of fittings for amateur radio antennas and aerials and stuff. Here's just another selection of some of his tooling. He's got a lot of stuff that I wish I had, and certainly his workshop is very, very well kitted out. So I've got a trolley here and got dividing head and rotary tables. Yep, pretty amazing. And look what's on the monitor. It looks like a YouTube video from Xanadu channel. So that's the very latest one I've done. Prior to this, where I reviewed that really excellent little live centre, which is perfect for small diameter work. So check that out. Okay, let's see what else Peter's got here. Okay, and while the lathe is a beautiful bit of kit, how about this mill? I mean, this is a really nice bit of kit, and it's an E-mill, and it's got vertical spindle and also provision for a horizontal spindle, so you can use it like the old time mills with the horizontal cutting action, or with a quill, and it's variable speed, the same as the lathe. Once again, this is a Hacksaw Metal Master HM54GV, and it's a nicely made piece of equipment, and certainly is not a lightweight machine. It's industrial grade for sure, this one. Here's a better look at it, and I think the motor on this is 3 horsepower, so that's one powerful beast of a mill. When you look at the column on this mill, you can see that it's absolutely massive, and the head unit also slides out, so you can actually move the whole spindle assembly in or out, rotate it, and also rotate it on the vertical plane as well. So yeah, it's a massive piece of equipment. But not everything is new school, some of it's old school, and down here we have the old ubiquitous power hacksaw, still doing its job after many years. And yeah, they work fine. And here's another look at the metal cutting hacksaw, the old style unit that was all the go years ago, when that's really all you could get. And now of course you can get the bandsaws, which are a bit more compact and a lot lighter and cheaper. So yep, this style of metal cutting saw is really getting to be in the veteran class. And of course every workshop's got to have a bit of mess, and here's Peter's mess, but he knows where everything is, and that's the important thing. And yeah, you can put your hands straight on stuff. Okay, and here's another view, and of course Peter's got the ubiquitous pillar drill here, a nice Taiwanese unit, very similar to what I got, a little bit lighter than mine, but they did make good pillar drills back in those days. And it's got a rotary table, which I pointed out is a must-have feature in one of my last videos, where you can rotate the table on 2 axes and allows positioning under the drill point wherever you want. So very versatile, very useful, and it's got a rack, of course. It's also useful having the shorter column ones like this rather than the full length, because with the short ones you can put a car jack under the rotary table arm, so that when you drill, as these tables all flex a little bit, you can eliminate any deflection away from the vertical position, whereas on a full column one you can't do that. So yeah, the bench mounted ones like this I think are really a better way to go. They're a good unit. And here's another toolbox that Peter's got, which is nice to have. It's good quality stuff, and certainly more at the market than in my workshop. And yeah, once again, nice gear. And of course every workshop's got to have a linen shower. This is one of the most useful devices that you can possibly have. And not only are they useful for getting smooth flat surfaces, you can use them for sharpening drill bits if you use a fine enough grit on them. This is a unit that bolts onto a regular bench grinder, and in this case he's got a wire wheel, a wire buff on the other end, so that yeah, it's a useful device, a good add-on, well worth having. And tucked under one of the benches is an air compressor down under there, so that's a good size one, very similar to what I've got back in my workshop. It's the sort of storage capacity you really want. You don't want them too small and you don't want them too big. And of course the bigger they get, the noisier they get too. And here's a final shot looking back at the really nice lathe and the workbench. So there you go, there's a look at a workshop that I've dropped in on. I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, it's always interesting looking at other people's garages and workshops to see how things are organised and what goodies they've got. And in this case, yep, it's a really good workshop, well kitted out, with some stuff I'm really envious of. And yeah, Peter's a lucky man. Okay, that's it for me. I hope you enjoyed it. I'll see you next time. Cheers.